Hola, bon dia, Munson here. Only just though, I gotta say. Good morning, Portugal. Hola, bon dia, alegria. From the crew at Expats Portugal, including my good friend on the line from Coimbra this morning, Frank Devane, raising a cup of mint tea?
Cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee this morning. How are you, Frank?
Not bad. How about you?
Not bad. Slightly muted Monday morning, right? We'll see what we can do, the pair of us.
I can see that because I'm sitting over here. I'm going. He had a very, very good Sunday night. This guy.
Thank you. Yes. Well, actually, I'll put you in the picture after we've said hello to a few of the lovely folks who are queuing up to say good morning this morning. Stephen Wells, good morning to you, Stephen. Leslie, good morning from Faro. Spent 30 years living in Texas, so I know a little bit about the way Texans barbecue. It is, of course, Blokes and Barbeques this morning. And we've talked about politics before now, which has been a bit eggy sometimes, and the pandemic and so on. But this could be the mother of all disagreements, couldn't it, about how to go about barbecuing? It could be awkward this morning, I'm thinking. What do you reckon?
Well, it's when you talk to North Americans about barbecue, it's about some people will swear by Southern barbecue, some people will swear by another regional barbecue. For me, it's the Southern barbecue from the United States, which is amazing because I've owned smokers. Beautiful.
Oh. Okay, yeah, and we've got a picture of Frank's trusty barbecuing steed. And I've got a really slow laptop. I don't know I'm going to blame Mrs. M because when you start sharing laptops, it's a bit like toilet seats, I suppose, isn't it? Or any other uncomfortable part. Sorry, everybody, at 9:06 in the morning, or socks, shoes, sharing shoes with people. It's like, someone's been messing about.
I was actually timing you. I was going to see how long does it take before he throws Mrs. M under the bus.
Well, it's a coincidence, maybe, but we're sharing technology, and it's definitely got more awkward. But the reason I'm a little bit tired this morning, and Mrs. M, is because our 2-year-old, he has become. I mean, all the kids have been pretty good sleepers, and brilliant kids, and but Junior of the gang, 2.5 years old. He's got this habit. He doesn't cry like you would expect. People are difficult having a baby. They wake you up and everything. He's like, who's the old geezer in Father Ted who just wakes up and starts shouting and swearing? He's like that.
Oh, all right. It's one of those.
He doesn't swear yet because he obviously hasn't heard that sort of language in our house. Or it's just a matter of good timing. But he's got this habit of just waking up and shouting like he's a grumpy old geezer.
What is he shouting? Like blah, 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 or like what? Is it something interesting? Or
Sagresh or Superbook, Southern style.
All right.
It's the issues of the day that seem to be upsetting him. But anyway, that's why we're a bit tired in this household. He's bright as a button this morning. He's up and about, and we're like, oh. Bon dia, Carl. Happy birthday, Bob Dylan. Yes, you may wish to say happy birthday to Bob Dylan as well. 80, I think, today, I believe. But who would have thought that Bob Dylan would be an 80-year-old? Obviously, that's what happens with human beings. But as the icon of a particular generation or zeitgeist or time or folk music, 80 years of age, I believe. So maybe we'll pull up some info about Bob Dylan if there are enough fans of his here this morning. What have you got to say about Bob?
Oh, amazing icon. on everything you can talk about as far as folk music, as far as the spine of American rock and roll is concerned. But in the past few years, he's lost a lot of, well, quite a few of his fan following for some reason. You know why?
Judas. No way.
He sold his catalog to a music company. I think 75 to 80% of his catalog, and a lot of people were not very happy with it because the music companies, as you know, in the industry, what they will do is then they will have a burger ad with Bob Dylan music with it, or like a Pepsi ad with Bob Dylan's music in it, and most
I
people who
see.
believe in original music do not agree with that.
And so we could ask today, couldn't we? What would be the best Bob Dylan track to play with a burger ad, for example? Yeah, would that be Would that be good fun this morning?
That would be very good fun this morning.
People
And
will.
you obviously and you obviously love your audience, so that's great.
Well, I have to say I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I have got some folk music to play at the end of the show today. We've had some great folks get in touch with us. This is the Sky Consort and Emma Burling, and they very kindly, they're looking for places to play around Portugal when they tour in October, and they very kindly allowed me access to their back catalogue. So from time to time, we'll be playing a tune or two. A familiar classic this morning, May the Road, going back to Father Ted. It's all connected this morning, and folk music. It's as though we planned it. May the Road is the tune we'll be leaving you with this morning. And I can't even remember why I started off on that track, but we will be sharing some folk. It's probably for that reason, because we'll be sharing some folk music with you. Bob Dylan leaves me I do hope people love me and forgive me for saying this, but he leaves me unstirred, I have to say. He's no singer, is he? I mean, it's not about the singing, is it?
Well, no, it's like Leonard Cohen, right? Not much of a singer, but when they come on, they create the kind of atmosphere when they come and not sing, but they just blurt out things. A friend of mine went to a Bob Dylan concert, was not impressed live.
Right.
Watching him, they paid $50 or $60 for it, and they by the end of the thing they were just not very happy. They pretty much fell asleep. So he's not an artist that will light you up in your seats and get you up and waving your hands and stuff like that. But he's surely an icon.
Yeah, I've no question about that. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean in any way a disrespect to the great legend, who of course you wouldn't be disrespecting any legends on their birthdays, or any other time.
Yeah, Carl Munson, let's bring the crowd back again. What's going on with you today?
Well, let's see what happens in the comments with Bob Dylan. But there you go, Jonesy. We've wished Bob Dylan. I mean, it's going to be even more difficult if he is watching this morning. I was a film extra back in the day, and I got got a call to be on a film. I can't remember where it was now, in central London somewhere. And it was a movie in which Bob Dylan was playing, and all my colleagues who are film extras were like, pushing everyone out of the way to see the legend. I didn't really know what was going on. So forgive my ignorance, but I absolutely, among everybody here from the Good Morning Portugal community, wanting to wish Bob Dylan a very happy birthday. And you've got to make a living. That's why he sold his back catalogue, presumably, because he needs the money. Bon dia from Faragudo. Nick this morning, completely forgiven for that. Jacqueline CDM, bon dia from a soggy Silver Coast. It is, isn't it? I did that thing, Jacqueline, that somebody recommended last week about the weather. I said, which is the best weather app? I don't know what yours is, Frank, but someone said, send out the cat, and if it comes back soggy, it's raining. I did it with the dog this morning, and it works. I can confirm it works. Jimmy Chu, who's actually a cover star for my barbecue, and I'll show you the pictures later, came back soggy this morning, so it's definitely raining.
I will come back and bail you out from jail for animal cruelty. Don't worry about it.
And Bob Dylan, the rap sheet is growing this morning, isn't it? Like being rude about Bob Dylan, borderline rude about Bob Dylan, sending animals out in the rain. Yikes! It's not been a good start, has it? But Antonio F is here. Bon dia, todos. Bon dia. Hope you had a great weekend. Yeah, let us know what you've been doing this weekend, everybody. How's it been? Have you dusted off the barbecue for the first time? Have you taken advantage of the oncoming bathing season in Portugal? Or just have you been working on your visa application? Bon dia from an almost sunny Wiesbaden. That sounds significant, doesn't it? Almost sunny there in Germany. Unfortunately, that won't last long. Rain. Oh dear, rain coming once again this afternoon. So
Speaking of that, Carl Munson, I have a complaint to register with you.
oh no, it's getting worse this morning.
You seduced me into coming to Coimbra, which was amazing. It's a beautiful town and stuff like that. You had all these beautiful words that you use. Your vocabulary is amazing, as we all know. You brought me into this town, and you're like, Frank, the sun is going to be shining. You're going to look at Coimbra from this angle. It's going to be beautiful and everything. And I arrive over here, and I see fog, and I see rain, I see cloud, and I'm like, what is this, London? Carl, come on! Why'd you do this to a friend of yours? I love Coimbra, by the way.
Yeah, but it's true. It is true. And worse still, I've moved. Haven't I? Having invited you.
What a guy! What a guy! And this is my this shirt, this white shirt, is my protest against the weather.
Oh, okay. The white shirt weather protest. That's a new thing. I've not heard of that before, but it could catch on politically, couldn't it? Using your shirt to complain about the weather, and then maybe burning it, setting fire to it once the good weather has come.
Here we go with the violence again.
You'll completely forget about this conversation. I would say in a month's time, you won't even know you've had this conversation. You say Carl's tip to move to Coimbra was the best life advice I have ever been given. You mark my words. Bon dia from, and there'll be trouble if that doesn't happen. Bearders 22. Bon dia from sunny Suffolk this morning. Good morning, sunny Suffolk. Sounding a bit Eurovision. And now, sunny Suffolk. Your points, please. Did you watch it, Frank?
No, I missed it. Apparently, it's a big deal in Europe. I missed it. Was it an Italian band that won?
It was Italy, not an Italian band specifically, but Italy won it. So
what is the thing about if for a second if we may digress? What is with Eurovision? What is the deal with Eurovision?
I can't answer that. That's not for me to answer.
Is it like a music contest? Is it like American Idol or like European Idol? What is the deal? What is going on with that? Because I saw some of the highlights, and wow, I've seen you in a few of those costumes, bright, beautiful, and the music very poppy, your kind of music. So I thought, you'd be able to tell me what you think of Eurovision.
I watched it with the best intentions. I actually thought that there might be a watch party of Good Morning Portugal or Expats Portugal people, or other social media groups are available. And I thought it might be fun to just have a bit of watch along and have a bit of banter about what was going on. But I soon lost the will to watch, I have to say, and it caused some unrest on the family sofa. When we sit on the sofa, it's a bit like The Simpsons. So we were having that vibe going on. But whilst Eurovision was on, and I've got to say, I was a bit disturbed. I mean, there's glamour. And then there's a sort of caricature of glamour, and that's what you, to give you one clue about Eurovision. That's one aspect of it. There is a caricature of glamour where it's taken to the next level. Very camp, a lot of pomp. Some people taking it really seriously. Others, like the UK, not taking it very seriously and getting nul point again. And then the media in the UK saying, "Isn't it time we left the Eurovision? This is disgraceful." But they got punished, I think, politically punished, and it's not cool to vote for the UK. So there was a time when some countries like Ireland might say, well, we'll just better share out the points among, and I think the scoring's changed as well. But countries used to think, well, we better show a little bit of support for our colleague countries politically, but no one even bothers with that with the UK anymore. So it was miserable for the UK, absolutely 0 points and then Italy stormed it at the end. So I watched a bit at the beginning, put a children's film on during the middle bit, and then came back to the scoring after the kids had gone to bed. That is the best way to watch it. But I'd be very interested to hear what other people think about Eurovision and whether, like you, Frank, they just don't get it. And it is hard to get the angle on it. It really is, because it is bizarre. It is actually bizarre, which is, I think, the feeling you've been left with.
Bizarre. It's a Disneyland. It's a camp Disneyland. It's quite interesting. You're watching a festival of God knows what. There's some rhythm in the background, but the thing is, you're watching a festival. You kind of feel that it's like Patricia's night out. It's a kind of funny an interesting thing.
A
But it's very
festival.
European.
That's not a bad hashtag. Festival of God knows what. FGKW. So yes, others may comment, and others will comment, I'm sure, about Eurovision. Mark Rigby's also in this morning. Bon dia from a partly cloudy Port de Virginia up in there, the Green Coast, where we must go one of these days. Bon dia alegria from Milda. Good morning, Milda. And Colin, our very own Colin Ross Jones. He heads our property search service. Good morning from Reba Mar, which sounds very cool as well, doesn't it? And Eddie Saylor there. Paul Richards, greetings from he's here now, everyone, well and truly. Greetings from already probably complaining about the weather. Greetings from San Rafael, my favorite subject, barbecues. Ooh, so the blokes are in with this is what we're talking about this morning. Yes, the fellas are here. Blokes and barbecues. I took another meaning and it went to another level for me when I moved to Portugal when it comes to barbecuing. So we will get around to talking about that at some point. Olga's here with a bon dia alegria as well. Jim McDonald says, and Mrs. M isn't even around to defend herself. Oh, come on, Jim.
Yeah, Carl. Yeah, Carl.
And you know what? I'm a bit bitter because she was on with those expats everywhere people again. She was talking to Kaylee, and she's their most popular guest. Talking about the things I didn't dare talk about Portugal. Mrs. M.
And you started that one as well, right? You do know that you started that one as well, right?
I made myself unpopular and her more popular than me.
No. Well, exactly, because you went first, and then she followed you once or twice right after, and then she's a star.
Yeah. That's right. It's like the bloke's okay, but the wife is really good. Get her on.
The wife is really interesting.
Yeah,
we know who the brains of the family is.
That's true. No question about that. Good morning from a sunny Harpenden in UK, says Susan. Journey from Lisbon to Luton last Wednesday went very smoothly. Glad to hear it, Susan, because we do get full of fear stories, don't we? And stories of escalating testing costs and all that. So I'm very glad for you that journey went smoothly. Mm-hmm. If you wish to say more, I'm sure some Brits would be pleased to know that as well, and maybe know a bit more about that. Paul and Louise Lottie in UK. Hola, bon dia, alegria. See you tonight for the gardening Q&A, 6:15. Paul and Louise. Morning all. Still smelling of smoke. This is one of the great things about barbecues, of course, is that you can smell really manly for days afterwards. Sweat and smoke. Still smelling of smoke after a great afternoon barbecuing at our local village social club. Pete's right in there with the Portuguese lifestyle. He makes our opening titles, of course, and you see much of what goes on around him in the opening sequence. A new giant fire pit. Is that an import? I don't have the Portuguese as people who sit around fire pits necessarily. Have you brought that in, Pete, or have there some other expats done that? That's interesting. Thank you, Pete. Tell us more. When it starts to get a bit eggy here about the best way to do this or that, that's when the fellas are going to really start getting alpha male here. You'll be able to smell the testosterone as well as the smoke soon here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Bon dia, alegria, Kansas City dry rub. Oh, I say, are we still talking barbecues here? We are, aren't we? Yes, dry rub barbecue. Head and Shoulders above the rest. I thought there was a marinade of Head and Shoulders shampoo as well as a secret ingredient. That would be pretty nasty. John Sandberg, thank you. People coming in with their views on barbecuing already. Never mind about politics. Dylan lost his fan base. Did he become a Trump supporter? That would be the way. That would be the ultimate turn, wouldn't it? He went. I mean, can you imagine those two twists in Dylan's career? First of all, going to electric, and then becoming a Trump supporter. That would be just the most incredible historical turnaround.
Poor Bob Dylan. He's somewhere watching this program, as you do on Mondays, and he's going, why are you bashing me, guys? All I wanted was, a nice supply of Bifanas. The idea was never, ever to make that much money. Yeah, how much, do you remember how much he sold his, all the backtracks for?
No, but that's the sort of information that will come through in the comments. I think I've got a feeling Mark might be a fan, Mark Rigby, and he might know that sort of information as well. But what I'm really dreading is the fact that we might have lost a jingle now made by Bob after what I've been saying this morning. Well, you watch the Good Morning Portugal show with Frank and Joe. Let's go. Not too bad.
Oh, you got it. That was amazing. That was spot on, Carl.
Bon dia.
He might just start watching them.
I might have turned it around. All of with my tribute act there. In fact, we could tour. Oh my goodness, I need some tea. No, I don't. I'm okay. We could tour Portugal with our Bob Dylan tribute act. We could take it in turns to impersonate Bob, or you could be another folk. Who would you like to be when we go on our folk tour?
I would like to be Janis Joplin, but for that I'll need to shave and grow the hair a bit.
A little bit, I would say. Again, no disrespect to Janice. So, yes, Bob and Janice will call ourselves. If someone could come up for a sort of a pun-based name for the Bob and Janice or the Dylan and Joplin show, our tribute act of Frank and I cooking a bit of food and then getting out the guitars and singing afterwards. It's a winner. That's our retirement plan, Frank. Doreen is here. Oh no, we missed out Capricorn 12. Bon dia all. Let's hope this is another good week for all. Enjoyed my first visit to the man cave on Friday night. Well, that's something not everybody says, to be fair. Capricorn 12. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Very good.
Another satisfied customer.
Another satisfied customer. It does. It's a Marmite show. It does divide people. Some people find it quite repulsive, even me at times. Bon dia, alegria, todos. T-6 and counting for Doreen. Lovely photos of your new apartment, Cascais, I believe, Doreen. And congratulations to you again on your successful adventure experience in Portugal. That's currently T-6. Hey guys, good morning. David Durham was with us. He's a funny guy, isn't he? He's a youngster among man cavers, but a very dry and brilliant American sense of humor. From David. They really enjoyed your company on Friday night. Bon dia, alegria, guys. Penny's here, Frank.
Oh, the sun is shining here this morning for the vegans. All right, I lost track of what was that? Vegans. All right, lost track of that one. Barbecue burgers. Bob Dylan's murder most foul. Okay. No worries. So what is a vegan barbecue like, Carl? You must know.
Don't get him started on that, Penny. You knew that would turn the atmosphere. It's been an emotional ride so far this morning, and now you have to go and mention vegan burgers to Frank. Like you, Carl. Oh, I'm getting support here. I'm not a fan of Bob, but collectively with George Harrison, Jeff Lynne, yes, the traveling Wilburys, which is always a funny name, wasn't it? But yeah, Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison, Tom Petty. The lineup there. Well, I mean, that's a superstar lineup, isn't it? He's fantastic in that lineup. Possibly, yes, giving him a bit more of a sense of humor, a bit more banter among the fellas there. That might have lightened the mood for Bob somewhat. Good morning, people. For head Gardener McGrady, gardening Q&A tonight, 6:15. Ballad of a Thin Man for low-cal burger ad. Oh, of course, that's the answer to. Nice. Yes, there you go. Which music do we use for burger ads? It's got to be a vegan burger, Bob Dylan's Murder Most Foul, and Douglas, yes, Ballad of a Thin Man for a low-calorie burger ad featuring Dylan. That's really good, Doug. Very, very good. Yeah, good effort, both you and Penny there. Bon dia from Porto, from Susan Lurch. Good morning, Portugal! See you in June from Ana Lucia. This morning, who often corrects me on my pronunciation, even of her name, Ana Lucia. I'm going to go with this morning. I used to. Oh, we're back to the brisket. Oh, can you do the old what's it called? The Barclay beef. What was that thing that we had a funny do with, Frank? That thing that you thought was a British meal that turns out no one in England has ever eaten it in a bowl of ham.
Okay, we're not going there. We've pissed off enough people this morning.
You can't. I don't suppose you could barbecue that, can you? You could smoke it, maybe, in your smoker, which we're going to see.
You could possibly smoke it.
And you did mention brisket. This is an American thing, Leslie. I used to slow cook brisket about 4 hours in a smoker. Best meat I ever tasted. So let's not, without any further ado, let's show. What do you call her, Frank?
This is a Traeger wood pellets smoker. This one is just a beauty. You could do about 12 or 13 whole chickens in there. It's the barbecue on this. I would start on a Saturday morning, and it was an all-day barbecue. Neighbors would be coming, friends, everyone would pass by, beers, barbecue going, and this would end until about like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon / evening. A beautiful day.
Did you call it a Traeger?
Yeah, the brand name is Traeger.
Okay.
It's a Traeger wood pellets smoker. And towards the right, you'll see that's the entire housing. You can program this. You can go inside because I've barbecued in the snow. Put this thing out there. You can actually control it. Turn the barbecue on, and yeah, well, with an app, yeah.
No way. Now, compare and contrast, folks, that North American beast And as you would imagine, I mean, Frank paints a fantastic scene there, as I've seen in the movies, of a North American cranking up the barbecue. I think you'll be everything will be thought about, even your outfit, right? Like maybe a funny apron with a little slogan on it or something like that, and you clicking your tongs, sharpening your knives, making sure you've got all the best.
All right. Let's take the apron out of the equation. All right. The real barbecue guys do not wear aprons. They wear t-shirts with nice barbecue stains on them.
Okay, and okay, I'm so sorry. First point of contention there, but maybe a tea towel or two tucked into your belt loops.
Exactly, 2 tea towels.
Yeah, and
So as you bring in.
Yeah, by the end of the day, that has to be burnt on the barbecue, right? Because it's so covered in ketchup, mayo, meat juice.
So you don't if you're doing like a costello or like pork rib, you've got a nice rub. You wrap it in pink butcher paper, put it on the top floor of the barbecue. Oh, beautiful! It's amazing. I'm telling you, you would love this.
This is what I'm saying. This is the North American approach, professional. Quite the most amazing approach to it. Compare and contrast, if you will, my barbecue that I've yet to use yet because we're recently arrived here in this house, and there's mine with Jimmy
This is beautiful as well. I actually I'm envious. This is beautiful.
This cannot be controlled by an app. There's my weather station there, or AKA the dog, just on the left. He's in there for scale. And this is a Portuguese barbecue, the likes of which, I mean, you'll drive up and down the smaller roads of Portugal, and you'll see a shop dedicated to selling these, or a building supplies with these out in the car park, right? This is a very traditional looking Portuguese barbecue. Portuguese people might say, actually, Carl, it's not. That is the real sort of Johnny come lately, typical expat effort. However, to me, this looks like a proper Portuguese thing. I'm not starting at 10 in the morning. I'm thinking I might have a barbecue today about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I might get some sardines out the freezer, and I'll put them in between a grid of metal. I'll Frank is shaking his head. I'm piping up the coals. I get a few coals from the petrol station, set fire to them with a blowtorch from my plumbing kit, and then within about 20 or 30 minutes, I've half cooked some sardines and given myself food poisoning. Or the whole family.
Have I taught you nothing, Carl Manson?
Is that wrong?
Have I taught you nothing? It's like you started a barbecue with sardines.
Yeah, well, that's what we do here in Portugal. Come on.
Yes, we do. Yes, it's beautiful. But the sardines would probably come at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's around the time when it would come. It would be like the snack from in between the different meats. So in the afternoon, early afternoon, you're going to start doing pork ribs and stuff like that. Later in the evening, you'll start doing the chicken. You might throw a nice pizza in there. There's so many different things you can do. Sardines would be part of the game, but not to start with.
Okay, because for me it's a bit like, I fancy this now. I'm going to cook it on the barbecue. It's not a whole day event, or hasn't been yet. So maybe we will have that hybrid. And some of the websites I want to show people that, based on our conversation this morning, are American websites who've taken the Portuguese barbecue and given it the North American treatment. So it's the best of both worlds that we're talking about, and that is a thing of beauty, I think, when those two worlds come together. This is what I'm talking about, though. Look, this is these are some barbecued sardines, right? You wouldn't turn your nose up at that, would you?
I would never turn that down. This is beautiful to watch, beautiful to cook. It's just some salt, some sea salt, a little bit of lemon juice, and you're good to go.
We have the Splendid Table here, splendidtable.org. He's done that beautifully, and this is Francis Lamb, I believe. Yes, Francis Lamb talking to Portuguese chef Nuno Mendes. There he is on the screen now. And there's a few of his tips about not using too much oil, maybe just a tiny little bit of oil, using an onion. If you want to put it on the grill for a moment, you can. Otherwise, eat it raw. And there is some green pepper with that as well. That might have been wilted a little bit on the barbecue by the look of it. And that's on some Portuguese bread. And that, to me, is looking beautiful. And I'd be happy to spark up the barbecue for that alone. And then, this is what we're talking about here, is the difference between the full-on social event that is the American barbecue and the utilitarian piece of cooking equipment that is the Portuguese barbecue, possibly, if I've got that right. I don't know. We'll find out.
But a barbecue is an event. Like, speaking of lamb, you could do like a nice lamb shawarma meat and putting a spice rub in it the night before, cooking it. Everything is an event with a barbecue. As soon as you fire up the barbecue, don't you see like everyone starts waking up and saying, "What's going on?" And there's
Yeah,
Colin Munson with his sardines. Even if you're just doing sardines, it's beautiful, right?
yeah, it
It's
is,
an
and
event, though.
it is the yeah, okay, fair enough. It is an event, and it's an event that brings all the boys to the yard, literally, isn't it? Because I posted up yesterday that you and I were going to be talking about this, and Gary made a very interesting comment. He said, "What is it about barbecuing whereby some men aren't bothered about cooking until the moment of the barbecue, then they push everyone else out of the way, and it does become their domain." Is what do you think that's about? Do you think that's about the primal urges of and the alpha male sort of supremacy of cooking in the original way? Because it would have been the first kind of cooking, wouldn't it? Over flames, over glowing embers.
I would think it has something to do with the fascination men have about things either crashing or things burning. So, and the smell of smoke. I think that's a fascination we have because I agree with you. You hand the
Yes.
person a beer and they'll go at it. And they'll just go. They'll stand at I have a few friends who will stand at the barbecue the entire day and they just love the smell of smoke. Something smoking, hopefully meat, and they'll just do it the entire day. I'm not assuming they're cannibals. It's just the meat, the barbecue meat that they'll go for.
Yeah, you're right, and I'm one of those that once, if I, when I actually, to be fair, when I have sort of hosted a barbecue and it's been a bit more of an all-day affair, your birthday party or something like that, not the every weekend thing that it seems to be in the North America experience, I have wanted to stand in front of the elements all day long, and then when you'll get a guy turn up at your party who's a friend of a friend, you don't even know them, and they'll sort of sidle up with you, and you'll say, "Do you want a beer? Grab yourself a beer over there. Oh, you've come with so and so. That's nice. You know, how long have you known them? Great." And then they'll say something really unthinkable, like, "Do you want me to take over?" And it's like, actually, no. What it was going really well. You know, I'm pleased to get to know you. You're a friend of my friend, and now you're asking me if I want you to take over my barbecue. It's like you should leave now. That's not right, is it, to do that to another man's
It
barbecue?
is. It is. Once you get into the rhythm, once you understand that this is the barbecue that you make love to every weekend, then what happens after that is you get used to the barbecue. So then what you do is if somebody comes by and says whatever, and you know this is your barbecue, you're just like, hey, listen, man, I'm going to hand it over for about half an hour, and I'll be back. I'm going to go and talk to my other guests and whatever. And it has to be someone who becomes a regular at your barbecues, who you
Yes,
know can handle the
yes.
barbecue with you.
Who can be trusted, right? Like a mate, not some
Yeah.
newcomer. And that
Oh
mate
yeah,
knows
no, that one.
when you come
That
back.
one you just slap. Yeah, that one you just slap aside. You just go on the side, have your beer, and just watch me
Go.
do this.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. And I'll come to your house and I'll observe the correct etiquette. And if your mate's taken over, like you say, for half an hour because you need to go and do something, when you come back, they just give you the tongs straight away. There's no toing and froing or fighting over it, is
There's
it?
nothing.
The alpha male is back at his primal cooking temple. Give him the tongs back and give him his dirty tea towel that he's tucked into his belt bag.
Because
Yes,
they know your best your friends who are around the barbecue, who you trust with the barbecue. They know that as soon as you come back, it's a sign of respect. This is my barbecue. You can make yourself at home around my house, but this is my barbecue. This is my domain. I own this.
well said, Frank. You're watching the Good Morning Portugal show with me and Frank this morning on our food tour. The food tour continues. Frank and I have a chat, usually about food, sometimes about drink on a Monday morning, and we're talking about the great thing that is the barbecue. And obviously, we've got a North American and a Portuguese and a British angle on this. I won't say too much about the Brit. You've probably been to a few British barbecues when you were in the UK and thought, "What is happening here?"
No,
Frank's worst experience going to a vegan barbecue in the UK. That would be a real low for you, wouldn't it?
I would not decline the invitation. I would go and watch people burn a sofa on a barbecue or whatever vegans do with. I don't even know the tofu. What happens to tofu on a grill? I don't know. I'd like to see.
I
It's a
think,
good
yeah,
experiment.
you'd watch it like you might watch Big Brother. I get it. Okay, so Rita Adonis is here. Bon dia, beach. Costa Caparica, Costa de Caparica yesterday. What a fine place that is. I discovered a new beach myself, Nada Duro. I would like to commend to the house as well. Might even show you a picture of the sunset before we go today of Nada Duro. Really recommend that on the Silver Coast. I've been tracking my friend in satellite doing an Atlantic crossing from Cape Town to Porto. He should arrive end of June, and he barbecues on his yacht. That sounds really dangerous, Ana Lucia. How fantastic. But that he is taking that. I mean, there's clearly an alpha male sailing across the Atlantic and sparking up. What else could he do to be even more manly, do you think, while sailing, probably maybe single-handed, and barbecuing and taking a selfie and putting it on Instagram all in one very cool moment in the Atlantic there? I don't know what he could. That is the pinnacle of manliness.
He could bench press right on his.
And bench press a few hundred kilos whilst doing all of that. That's what we'd like to see, Ana Lucia. If you can
don't drop the dumbbells right on the floor.
Yeah, or overboard. You never get them back. But he's probably so manly that his dumbbells would fly overboard, hit a tuna on the head, and then he'd be actually be barbecuing that tuna in no time. It should be called Euro Cringe, not Eurovision. So Mark, not a fan there. Dzień dobry from Poland this morning from Barbara. Absolutely right. Not sure what we were absolutely right about now, but maybe about Eurovision. Eurovision is a historical thing, right? Okay, says Rita. It was part of our culture for many years. I loved the Portuguese winner of 3 years ago. It was a beautiful song. It was part of our culture for many years, but totally different from what you see now. There used to be great music. Now it's more political. In my opinion, isn't everything, including barbecuing this morning. Have you tried beer can chicken in a smoker? Is this that joke to try and make us sound Jamaican? Can anyone say beer can without sounding Jamaican? You have tried that, Frank?
I've tried that. This is beautiful. In the smoker, you just put half a beer can, and then you place the entire chicken on there. It's amazing. This is the kind of barbecue we need to do. That's why I'm saying, you know what we will do? We will turn you into a full day barbecue person, and then it will become your domain. You'll be like, Frank, I know it's 9:30 in the morning. If you want to, just come by. We'll start in the morning. We'll finish in the afternoon. You'll be telling me.
I'm looking forward to that. That sounds great. Whether it be on your balcony in Coimbra, or your place, your possible new place in the Algarve, keeping everybody guessing, or another plot twist, Braga, excuse me, or something like that. Who knows what can happen in Portugal as people move around and try different parts of this country? It's quite extraordinary. Gary's here, the aforementioned Garvo from Alviagra, Big Frank, not so big Carl. Bon dia Alegria. I'm not sure how to take that. Maybe he's a Bob Dylan fan. He's having a go at me there. You wait till you have a Coimbra summer. It's proper hot. There you go. Don't say I didn't warn you. You see, you'll be complaining, won't you, Gary, in due course about that? Yeah, Carl, it's raining here. And then, Carl, it's too hot here in a few months. When I was out looking at Pete Stork, that's Stork, I got sunburned very quickly in about 25 minutes. Hope you're okay. Hope he had aloe vera on his patch as well, and you were able to rub that in. Bon dia from Joel this morning. Joel, how are you? 40 years ago, it was one of the major events in Portuguese TV. This is the Eurovision, not barbecuing. Now it's just something in the TV calendar. It's been, so it was big in Portugal. That's interesting to know. It's been many years since I've seen the Eurovision Song Contest.
Was it the Portuguese contestant who was like this wonderful looking fella, like, with a beard similar to yours, and like, have full makeup, and like he had like, beautiful hair, and he came on, and he was wearing a dress as you do, and heels. Was it Portuguese?
No, I think you could be upsetting even more people this morning saying that. I don't think Conchita Wurst, who you're talking about there, who I am sometimes mistaken for, was ever a Portuguese entrant, and not for many years now. It was Black Mambo, I think, was the Portuguese band with a really good song that I thought was better suited to being a James Bond theme, and a good song. I really liked it. Great sentiment as well. Really, really wonderful about love. But the more edgy Italian full on, like you sounded like a Queens of the Stone Age track. Really, it was full on rocking out sort of track. Maybe maybe you hit the zeitgeist right. And do you think, if you saw it, was he really sending an Insta at the end there with that rather awkwardly photographed moment of the Italian band there? Not something we should talk directly about at breakfast time, I suppose. Oh, Eurovision, a multilingual pantomime. That's a really good way of putting it, Jacqueline at CDM. Antonio F. Bon dia to Joel. The Portuguese men are having a chat and probably saying, gosh, these expats and their heretical barbecuing ideas coming over here. Mrs. M is amazing. I love to listen to her. All right. This is my show. Nothing more potent than barbecue testosterone. Yes, the edgy atmosphere, and it's right what you were saying, Frank, about there's an element of the elements, and there's peril. Things are at stake, aren't they? That aren't at stake in a normal. I know the kitchen is the most dangerous room in the house, but it's different in the barbecue again, isn't it? Because things that could happen, it's uncontrollable. That's how it feels. So there's that.
At any point as a viewer, if you're taking a picture, you'll see 5 guys looking into the fire or looking into the barbecue. I don't know what they're searching for, but they're maybe their soul, and they're looking into the barbecue.
No question that men probably are searching for their very own souls as they can contemplate cooking for their families and just have a little memory of their primal past. It's a special moment. No wonder there's an enduring fascination. The fire pit is a large cement block and tile barbecue. Look at this. This is Portuguese barbecuing, right? It's able to take a whole pig on a spit. We were all standing around. See, there they were. We were all standing around it yesterday, trying to keep warm, searching for their souls in the wind as the meat was grilling. And you said you barbecued in the snow. There's another thing. It takes quite a lot of weather to take a man away from his barbecue once it's lit, right? You go through it.
Peter is such an artist in being a show off. Like this one is great. Fire pit, we're standing around. He's given us a visual, whole pig on a spit. Everybody's standing around singing Kumbaya, and then somebody hands them a beer, and then it all happens.
Singing Kumbaya in Castellet de Pera. Put that on your bucket list. The best flavored barbecue meat is the one prepared the night before with the right condiments. Okay, Chef Frank, could you give us a few tips for the newbies, for the people who don't tend to marinate the night before, who don't tend to rub, who don't tend to do all these things? What would be a good entry point into that, rather than just going to the supermarket in the morning, chuck in the first thing you can find on the barbecue? Bit more thought here. The night before, what might you do?
Night before, I might take. It depends. If you are doing pork, then the morning off, and let's say give it 3 or 4 hours. You always need to have spices like cumin, dry coriander, paprika, salt, a little bit of lemon rub, always in there, and then you can move it around with the kind of fresh herbs you may have. Put it all together. 3 or 4 hours usually should be good for pork. For fish, not more than half an hour or even 20 minutes. For fish, keep it very, very simple. Some dill. You can use a little bit of fresh coriander, lemon juice, olive oil, fresh garlic, half an hour, 45-minute marinade, and you're good to go with fish.
Very good, thank you. Yeah, you don't want to be. That's the thing, isn't it? I guess the meat can take quite a lot of treatment. The fish, you don't want to over season, you don't want to over marinate, and you don't want to be poking it too much on the barbecue because it'll fall apart. So light touch with the fish and a bit more intense.
And if it's lamb that you're doing, the shawarma one that I was talking about, that marinade of spices goes with yogurt, and yogurt softens the meat. So you do that overnight, and next day when you put it in the nice butcher paper, not directly on the heat, it will take 3 or 4 hours for it to come together, but it's beautiful.
And for British viewers, Frank is talking about yogurt there when he says yogurt. He's going to probably going to say oregano in a minute or something like that as well. We shall find.
Oregano.
Apparently, Bob Dylan sold his song catalogue for that's worth a few vegan burgers, isn't it? 300 million to Universal Music.
Imagine the amount of bananas.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm surprised they didn't own it in the first place. How did he get access to his own music in a way that most artists never? It never happens to most artists, do they? They're usually, contracted up to the eyeballs. I grew up dreaming of winning the Festival de Canção and going to Eurovision. So obviously that's the early heat in Portugal. So that it was a beautiful thing here. I mean, for some people, it's still a beautiful thing, but it's changed clearly over the years, haven't we all? Though, including Bob Dylan. Just looked it up. Bob Dylan rocked the world last month by selling the rights, as Frank quite rightly pointed out. Jonesy and Antonio F all over that. 300 to 400 million. It's escalated another 100 million. So I think he's going to be okay, isn't he, for the rest of his days, by the sound of it. 600 songs. No, it's gone up to 600 million US dollars. This is amazing. It could only just be second to Bitcoin the way. Actually, no, Bitcoin's different now. But that was a better bet.
It's like this gives you a picture of British journalism. You don't know which one is correct. It's the Sun, it's the Star, it's all these journalists reporting
it is.
on the amount.
I think Antonio F is probably the Guardian, 300 million, and then we go probably to the Daily Express. 300 to 400, and we finish with the Sun, as you say, 600 million whopping US dollars, everybody. Amazing. Okay, so many wonderful comments coming in. We need to crack on through these. Louise will probably be joining the gardening Q&A, maybe pictures of our veg patch rather than flowers this week. Excellent. What's acceptable to you to put on a barbecue that isn't meat then, Frank?
Peppers.
Is that it?
Bell peppers, you can do zucchini. Other than that, those are the two vegetables I do because it's a barbecue, isn't it? Like you've not come to joke around. If people want salad, you'll have a salad on the side that's going to go dry in a few minutes because they ain't coming to a barbecue to eat leaves. They're coming to a barbecue to eat meat.
Yes, and interestingly, when you are clearing up at the end of a barbecue, you do tend to find quite a lot of miserable salad there, don't you?
Always. Lettuce all over the place. Lettuce is like left abandoned. It's just nobody wants a piece of it. It's you're looking at it. Tomatoes sitting somewhere where you thought you would grill the tomatoes for someone, and someone said that's a wrong idea. What are you doing? We still got some pork. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, so you could start a home for abandoned lettuce at the end of a Frank's barbecues. That Bob Dylan number you pulled sounded just like a kid from my class at school who used to whinge all the time. Thank you, Gary. That to me is what Bob can sound like. Busy day. So Doreen's off. Thank you for your brief moment with us. Eurovision is so bad, says Beverly. It's compelling. Yeah, there you go. Definitely an institution. And when a child, our family would congregate in front of the TV, paper and pen, and would mark each country, then give a few points. I hope this is helping, Frank. Each hoping to have found the winning performance. It was a mad tradition. Now it feels sad, very odd, and far too long. Yeah, it is long. Part of me is drawn to it. Nowadays, part of me is like, no, do I want to waste an evening of bad music, high drama, and undercover backbiting? UK, GP, GB, nil point. Quite a good assessment there, Beverly. See you tomorrow, Portugal. John's on his way. Rooney to Casa Rooney over here in Portugal to start off keeping up with the Kardashians. Now that I haven't heard before. That is good. Do we need to start a new YouTube channel, me and Mrs. M, keeping up with the Kardashians, or is somebody already doing that? That is perfect. Very, very good, John. I love that.
That is beautiful, John.
Yeah, very, very good. Smoked Salisbury steak, very rare on a barbecue. Someone had to mention it, Frank, I'm afraid. So,
Gary, it has to be Garbo, my good friend. Always does that to me.
How important is it?
Never let me forget my canned Salisbury steak.
This is for you, Frank. How important to have a barbecue in the rental villa?
Very important. That's a cause for you to decline or whatever. However, over here you'll find it most of the time when you go to little town. If you're renting a villa, you will find barbecues in the backyard. They'll even they'll have the carvão, which is the coal, I guess. They'll have everything ready for you.
Yeah, my first rental, I said to Joao, really beautiful bloke who we rented this place from, and I saw the barbecue in the garden, and I thought, I better ask him, with this thing about, another man's barbecue, hands off. And I said, is it okay to use the barbecue? And he looked at me like, Like, why wouldn't you? What is wrong with you, British people? It's, you know, it's there to be used. Get some charcoal, get some sardines on there. It was a really good moment of, you know, of the connection between the nationalities. It felt like to me. Better than
Here's the thing. This kind of, and the reason why he gave me this look is because we come from societies that are very individualistic, and these societies are very communal. So when a person looks at you like that, he's going, "Hey, brother, it's about sharing. Whatever you've got is mine. Whatever mine is yours. It's a sharing society."
and the Parc de Merendas we should mention, of course, as well, Frank. These public well, picnicking areas, but public picnicking areas in Portugal do have barbecues, like built barbecues. You don't have to be taking one of those sorry tin foil things that are one-shot barbecues. I mean, they're awful, aren't they? In Portugal, there's running water, there's washing up facilities, there's a barbecue, sometimes there's a bread oven, there are picnic tables, and families arrive with the most immense and elaborate and exquisite picnics. And the fellas will be, you know, sparking up the barbecue. The Vinha Verde will be out to get the party started. Sagres, Superbot, whatever, in a one box full of ice and beers. Absolutely fantastic and available, as you say, because it's a communal culture. People very respectful of the staff. You know, in my native UK, that barbecue area would be pretty much trashed by the end of the first weekend after the kids got on it. Portugal, it could be in the middle of nowhere, and it's like pristine. You know, you this left as it was found, and it's a community resource as seen as such. Frank,
it's about respect.
It's about respect. Here we go. Gas or other type. Now, no one's mentioned gas. I'm a bit reluctant to even say it. I mean, that's not right, is it? Cooking with gas outside?
No, they've got this. Well, they sell it over here as well. It's something that helps light the coal up. You put small pieces of it. You've got your match you light it up with, and it's beautiful. You don't need gas. You don't need to go to the gas station and
no, not
get 1 liter of gas.
Not that kind of gas.
Start burning your house. Don't do that kind of stuff. No.
Not petroleum gasoline. Gas powered off-road bottles.
That's what I thought you do. That's why I was like, that's why I did this. I go, oh my god, this guy, he's never barbecued before. Poor guy.
No, not guilty of ever doing that. I mean, the cheat I do use is the blowtorch to get it going, which I think that's acceptable.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm
not definitely acceptable. Not excessive at all.
Okay. But you wouldn't cook over gas outside, would you? You get you're a pellet man. You'll cook over wood.
Cook over wood. Actually, pellet is a bit. I don't know. Wood pellets are a bit. They're nice, but over here you've got so many amazing options. Over here, I would go very, very rustic.
Very, very rustic. Okay. Just want to show you one thing before we continue our conversation with the lovely questions that are coming in. Thanks for that one, Capricorn 12. Here's one example, Frank, of this is how the Americans do the Portuguese thing, right? This is a wonderful place. When you search for Portuguese barbecues, you get a lot of American establishments. This is brilliantly named Bairrada, the Churrasqueira Bairrada. We must mention Churrasqueira. I visited the first one I ever went to in Portugal the other day. This is the best in Long Island, they say. Look at that. Do you see in that, Frank? Yes, that steak slamming down there.
That's just sexy on a different level. That's amazing.
Yeah. Looking like a great selection of Portuguese wines that they're over in Long Island. And what I'm trying to get to is the look of the Churrasqueira. I mean, other more pretentious people might call it a spatchcock, right? But if I zoom in on this particular split chicken, these are the frangos that that we are familiar with. See, I told Mrs. M has been messing about with this. It's taking ages to load up. But that picture there, of the bottom right, that is the classic Churrasqueira barbecue chicken inside the shop, right? You having one of these a week, like I do?
Oh, twice maybe. They are so convenient. You just buy them like this, season them, put them in the oven, put them on the barbecue, or light them up with gasoline, stuff like that.
Right. And I have got the zoom in picture now of it, but this is such an important part of Portuguese culture, such a joy to find when you come across this for the first time, or you don't see it first time, you smell it first time, and you're walking past a shop there is a gathering of Portuguese people outside. You're not quite sure because there's no signs on the door sometimes, but you can smell chicken. And this was my introduction, San Martinho de Porto, to the local chicken business, the churrasqueira barbecue chicken. And I am struggling to bring it up on screen, so I'll not bother with that. But that you must do. And I know you hate it when I mention it, but this is what the Nando's franchise has stolen this idea, right? And over here, you're buying a churrasqueira chicken from those. You get a few chips. You might get the migas, the mixed bread and cabbage. It's a beautiful, beautiful evening's meal takeaway. €6, maybe 7 in some places. What is it? How much does a Nando's bird cost you when you get in that restaurant? You're not getting out of there without spending 30 quid, are you, for a couple? Probably.
For fast food, though, Nando's might be. If someone was to ask me, should we go to that McDonald's? Should we go to that Burger King? And if there's a Nando's around, I'll always pick the Nando's.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, good call on that. Bon dia from sunny Coleraine in North Antrim Coast from William Ogilvie. Good morning to you this morning, William. So for you, Frank, who are the barbecue kings? Americans?
Without any doubt, Americans. Without any doubt. I don't know. Australians usually like the shrimp on the barbie, but Americans.
Okay, let's see what happens with that answer. The best barbecue for villa rental is a cheap one that you can throw away and replace because it will never get cleaned. Yeah, that is a problem for the hosts, isn't it? Turning up to clean their place, and they spent maybe 5 hours cleaning the house and 10 hours cleaning.
People are very respectful, especially if you've had Portuguese guests. They'll be very respectful of your barbecue. They'll clean it up nicely. As a matter of fact, whatever extras are left, they'll just leave it aside. People are very respectful. The entire process is a very communal process for anything over here that you use.
All right. So, Antonio, thank you, Antonio. Always good with a definitive Portuguese statement. Everyone uses coal in Portugal here to Capricorn 12. When we had our Traeger smoker grill, she's here, Rachel's here, we would buy pellets of different wood species. This is the North American approach. There's only one bag in a Portuguese place, isn't there? It's the coal. Over in North America, would you like it with apple, cherry, etc.? That would give different flavors to the meat. Very interesting. Thank you for that input, Rachel. I hate barbecues. I've had food poisoning. Morning, Faulty. I've had food poisoning twice in Portugal, and with barbecue pork, never again. Oh, Colin.
It would not happen with our barbecues or his smoked sardines. It would never happen.
Give us another chance, Colin. The Portuguese barbecue is very similar to the one used in barbecue in Brazil. What am I talking about? Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, so you will have experienced barbecuing in Brazil. Got something to say about that, Frank?
Barbecuing in South America is on a different planet. As I say, Americans in overall with barbecuing, I love American barbecue, but South America, when you go to Argentina, when you go to Brazil, Uruguay, these kinds of places, it's on a completely different planet.
Yes. Okay. First is brek and chorizo. I'm not sure. This is about doing what the linguiça and chorizo on the barbecue as well, which is a great idea.
I think what Pedro is saying is this is how you start the barbecue. Is first you start with the bread and chorizo. You start the barbecue that way.
Okay. Yeah, that would be bread. Cheers, Pedro Carvalho. Always great when the Portuguese speak up. The problem with pork, it has to be well done. And in a barbecue, fire, that doesn't always happen. Same with chicken, right? But come on. Fantastic barbecue with sardines in Portugal. Fantastic, says Barbara. Yeah, I think the sardine. It's about to be the sardine season, of course, I think. Yeah, the Spanish were able to fish first, I believe, due to some EU quirk, but the Portuguese fishermen will be bringing the sardines in soon, and there'll be a lot of fun in Alfama, I think, isn't it, in Lisbon, where that really happens as an incredible sort of festa atmosphere and a celebration of sardines there. Let's have a look at Alicia Cocotos. It seems that Portuguese barbecue resembles the South African braai much more closely than American barbecue. I think that's right. I think some people have been talking about braai, including Anna Lucia in my earlier comments on Facebook. I prefer my outdoor griddle now, not smoky. This is almost a millennial talking, isn't it? Like getting too concerned about the negative health effects of smoking and flames and stuff like that. It's health and safety gone mad. An outdoor griddle, what's that? That's not an alpha male thing, is it, David? Or is it the new alpha male? Maybe. What was he talking about there, Frank?
Come on, David. What we got to do is we got to have you hanging out with some real guys doing some real barbecue. You've been hanging out with pansies too long, man. You got to hang out with real guys.
Now, we know David well enough, I think, to be able to say that. Otherwise, there's a friend lost forever. Depends on how drunk the host is, I suppose. What was that referring to, Jacqueline? Is that a food poisoning comment? It could be, couldn't it? Gary, equally, what is it about barbecue where it is assumed by women that men know how to barbecue, even if they're absolutely useless cook? Yes, this is Jerry, I think, chipping in there. It's just it is the male domain, isn't it? Food poisoning or not. Asking to take over a barbecue is like someone asking if you don't mind if they sleep with your wife. You see? That was on my mind, Gary, but I'm glad you said it, not me. Bon dia from sunny Portugal. Plenty of barbecues for me now, says Lisa. Oh, she's here. She's arrived. What a journey, but well worth the stress and wait. Loving the Portugal way of living already. Very bem-vindo to you. Welcome to you, Lisa. What great news from your household. One of the main reasons we moved to Portugal was a love of barbecue. We have used it all winter. That's interesting because Pete was saying that there isn't I said, it's the beginning of the barbecue season. That's a rookie era. There is no barbecue season. There is just barbecuing in Portugal all year round. Bon dia, Carl and Frank. Had a great peri-peri chicken barbecue for my birthday yesterday. It was awesome. Jersey, over there in New Jersey. Tell us about peri-peri, if you will, Frank.
Peri-peri is the pepper itself. They make this, Nando's is gonna taken it and turn it into something different. But the peri-peri sauce, or it comes from the pepper, lemon juice, vinegar, and the sauce made with the pepper itself.
Yes. And interestingly, in Portugal, they will say to you, "Picante," as you are in the shop. Do you want the spicy one or the not spicy one?
Well, if they're doing it with the malagueta pepper, malagueta is a bit spicier, but piri-piri has a beautiful taste to it. It's not that spicy.
And so
depends what you.
Yeah, from a public service point of view, we're not talking about like West Indian hot, are we? When people say spicy and hot in Portugal, it's nothing like Far Eastern or West Indian hot, is it?
But no, it's like putting some. That one will put some extra hair on your chest. That the West Indian one is lethal.
Yes, but you tend not to get hairs on your chest when you eat a churrasqueira in Portugal, even if you ask for the picante. So, ladies, don't worry about that. Lol, my opinion is South Africans braai the best. Americans burn and cringe their meat. Sorry, singe. But you North Americans are burning, singeing, and cringing your meat. Yet to see.
I don't know where she's been eating. Anna, I welcome you to come to either my place or go to another North American's place who knows what they're doing, and you will have an amazing barbecue. It will give this braai or whatever it is. I'm quite sure braai is amazing. It will give it a nice contest.
That's an inflammatory comment, and you know it, Ana Lucia. Yet to see a proper steak done by them. Honestly, Pedro, as well as the bread and chorizo, sardinhas first salad with hot peppers. So the hot peppers in there, liking that. We had an amazing grilled chicken at the feira on Saturday. Fantastic, Rachel. It's just not hard to find, is it, in Portugal? Another screen to share with you. This is from America again, and the Americans, interpreting the Portuguese classic.
Say America again, Carl. Could you please say America again with that twirl?
America. Okay, I'm sorry, but look, this is what it should look like. That's how it should look, right, Frank? That is textbook. Yes. You've got the Portuguese tiles there, but this is America, folks. Eat galinha, and this is, where is this? I don't know. We'll find out in just a moment. But it is not in Portugal, but they're doing Portugal well. It would appear here, New York City, and look at that. There's some nice. What is that? What cut of meat is that, Frank?
This looks like beef ribs.
Man! And look, they're beautifully done here in New York City. And look, to finish, if you want to, that looks like a cool place. If you want to go try some Portuguese, if you're not here in Portugal yet, and you're in New York City, that they look like they're doing that really well to me. Batatas fritas there, and I think Oh, look, we've got a little bit of a slideshow here. This is always good. I'll leave that running on the screen for everybody there. Galicia, yeah, chicken, of course. I tried not to. I have not tried a Sardinia yet. Looking forward to it. Rachel, that's going to be a special moment. Special moment. Okay, word of caution coming in. If you stand near the person doing the barbecue or near the sardines grilling on the barbecue, make sure as you can. Make that as short as you can. Okay, so don't stand too close to the sardines for too long. The first time I participated in a sardinada, my clothes, my hair, my everything smelled of sardines, and it took me at least 48 hours to remove the smell. Why would you want to remove that smell? I'm talking as a couple of alpha males here. I think we would find that quite attractive in a woman, wouldn't we? The smell of sardines in her hair. Barbecue.
Well, sardines depends on the complement of some kind of perfume, and this would go beautiful. It's a sardiniada happening for sure.
Yeah, and I think Chanel are probably working on this fragrance quietly in the background, aren't they? With somebody like, I don't know, Kate Winslet to promote it. You know, like Sardinia. We'll get Joel doing the voiceover, won't we?
Well, it's definitely much better than the other perfume that they're developing, Grandma's armpits. It's definitely different from that.
I've not heard of that one, but yeah, from what you say there, I do think the Sardinia by Chanel is the one for me, and it's not a hormone disruptor; it's a natural smell on a natural woman. What could be better than that? So thank you for those words of caution, Christina, and for those who would be bothered by. I mean, I guess if you're going to a corporate meeting, it's not a good look or a good smell, but for us fellas here, I think we were okay with that. Bob Dylan, not renowned for his lyrics. Motor Psycho Nightmare, 1964. Then in comes his daughter, whose name was Rita. She looked like she stepped out of the Dolce Vita. Those are lyrics, aren't they? I guess Rita rhyming with Dolce Vita. They're very good.
I thought he was rapping. Is this a Bob Dylan lyrics that he's sharing?
It's a rhyming couplet. Then comes in his daughter, whose name was Rita. Then comes in his daughter, whose name was Rita. She looked like she stepped out of La Dolce Vita. I'm here all week.
John Morrison, you sir, are a gentleman and an artiste, if I may.
And now stop it. Use white wine or Superbock beer for the meat marinade. Oh, there are so many things for us to do, aren't there? And experience. Yes, white wine or why not Sagres there though? Because it's the intellectual beer, isn't it? We found out the other week. Superbock is more associated with the intellectuals of the country, apparently, and Sagres is more the working man's beer. Bon dia todos, Frank. What do you think? Not to say that working men aren't intellectuals. You know, it's a Venn diagram that overlaps. Too late, Frank. What do you think about a kind of wagon barbecue? We get one together with the house. What is a wagon barbecue?
Wagon barbecue. It's like one of those. Well, it's the ones that is strung together. You see it in New York. People barbecuing on one of these things on wheels. It just goes till eternity. You've got pastilla happening. You've got chicken. You've got pork. You've got everything going in these long barbecues.
Okay, so I mean, just take it, Johnny, and then you can always upgrade or whatever or evolve your.
We'll upgrade. We'll find people. Trust me, people will be around. There will be kids and pets to pet, and then there will be like all kinds of things happening. 5 guys looking at the fire again. It will be amazing.
Invite us over. We'll be 2 of those 5 guys who'll come and test it for you, Johnny. Dave and Debbie are here. Hi, I just sent a Facebook message to you regards a poster of a missing dog in Eastern Algarve fire on the weekend. That's bad news, and we will do our best to help there. Please share if you can. Thanks, Dave and Debbie. I would urge you as well, get on the forum, Expats Portugal. That's going to be difficult for me to do right now, Dave and Debbie. I would like to help, however. So go to expatsportugal.com and put it on the forum there. You'll get access to lots of people, and put in the subject line "missing dog Eastern Algarve," and people will be happy to help, I'm sure. And we hope that pooch is found safe and well soon. I'm very happy to share messages of that kind, and put more in the comments here, if you will, Dave and Debbie as well. If you've got to just a cut and paste, do it in the comments. Bon dia from Donna Grassa. Good morning to you, Grassa. How are you doing? Great to have your company. Not showing off, says Pete. Just saying that at the social club we have the new fire pit, a traditional Portuguese brick barbecue. not showing off. Here he goes again. 2 half-barrel barbecues, not showing off.
This guy is unbelievable. I love this guy.
A wood-fired oven, still not showing off, and a fully equipped kitchen, definitely not showing off. Plus barbecue specialists. Oh, this could get a little bit awkward, couldn't it? Imagine the women just leave them to it. Can you imagine? This is a big beginning of a joke, isn't it? Five men walk into a barbecue: an Englishman, South African, an Indian, an Argentinian, and a Portuguese. That would be a pretty special joke and quite a good dinner at the same time.
And only 2 know how to barbecue.
Oh dear. Dave, after his griddle comment, look at this. Potatoes in foil cooked well on a barbecue. David! He's going to get chucked out the man cave at this rate, isn't he?
I don't know. Dave just needs to hang out with us. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's going to have fun, and he's going to learn a thing or two about barbecue.
I don't mind you singeing your leeks or burning your peppers, but potatoes in foil, that might as well just go in the oven, or like do it in a fire pit or a volcanic thing. But like sticking it on the barbecue there, it's just going to give people the wrong idea. Veg on the barbecue, skewers of bell peppers, courgette, onion. I do like a barbecued veg kebab, actually. Or as you Americans say, kebab. Skewers of bell peppers, courgette, onion.
It's a kebab, man. It's a kebab.
Because in England, it's a kebab. Onion, mushrooms. I'm going down the pub and I'm coming back. I'll get a kebab on the way home. Mushrooms glazed in a sweet chili or lemon.
Say kebab again.
I'm going down the pub, have a few beers with me mates, talk about a few things.
Get a kebab on my way back.
Nearly. Get a kebab on the way home in a safe chili, like a doner kebab, all wrapped up, ends up on your feet, however hard you try to eat it. Chili or lemon and herb sauce. That does sound good, to be fair. That does sound good. David's back. Me and the wife are at Nando's in Chicago this weekend. Have a great time. Memories and aromas and anticipation of Portugal there for you. Oh, you ate at? You had a Nando's. Was it good, David? There is now a fish and chip shop opening. You don't do fish and chips on a barbecue, Colin. Never. There is now a fish and chip shop open in Lisbon. Portugal is slowly becoming the UK. Thank you, Colin. Really slowly, I hope. Personally, I that the Brian, South Africa, is the real champ. Frank?
Well, it may be. I haven't tried it as yet. It may be amazing because they do meet over there in South America, South Africa, I guess. South Africa.
South Africa, yeah.
And I'm quite sure they do a lot of game meat as well, so it must be special.
It must be special, but different, right? And Gary's stirring it again. Seafood in Australia wins hands down on the barbecue.
Shrimp on a barbie. That's exactly it. Shrimp on a barbie.
Yeah. Again, good but different. We have a wood oven next to our chimenea barbecue, says Penny. Love food cooked in them.
Didn't Crocodile Dundee do like shrimp on a barbie? No?
Probably. What, as a song? No, I think it was Bob Dylan, actually. Shrimp on a barbie. One of the best barbecues I ever had. I don't know what rhymes with shrimp on a barbie, but we'll think of something before the show's out. One of the best barbecues I ever had was Barracuda. Check this out, Gary. Look at him talking about Pete showing off.
Show off.
Yeah, Barracuda with ginger, chili, and honey, caught fresh from Surf Island in the Seychelles. Unbeatable. Pah. It doesn't beat a kebab on the way home from the pub, Gary. Absolutely love cooking. Weirdly, with travel, I really missed it. A year of not cooking. Morning, Pete. Still desperate for our kitchen at the end of the month, but open fire barbecue is still nice. Yeah, come on, Pete. I've got high hopes for your whatever it'll be, solar powered or something like that. Off grid barbecue. I mean, that's the thing. Barbecue is off grid, isn't it? It is the ultimate off grid statement. Every alpha male is an environmentalist when he's standing at his off grid barbecue, not gas.
No, not gas, not you lighting stuff up with a blowtorch. It's something delicate. You start it up nicely. You work on the fire. You stare at the coals as they go red, and then you put your meat on it slowly. I'm
hypnotized. You hypnotized.
Yes. There you go.
In my country, sausage and onion. This is in Poland on the barbecue, of course. Yes, I can see sausage and onion. Would you ever?
Amazing sausages, by the way. Amazing.
They do, don't they? And they like a carp for Christmas, don't they?
Fantastic.
And I once worked with a dyslexic man who did say that the Polish people like crap for Christmas, which was really difficult because it was like a big pub quiz situation, which we had to resolve in some way. But carp is the thing, isn't it, for Polish people at Christmas time? Wouldn't go on the barbecue so well, except Frank's massive barbecue. You could get a massive carp on that bad boy, I think. But it's a flaky. You want to be careful with fish on a barbie, don't you? And cooking right through to the center of your carp. Could be done on that. Could be done on your Traeger, I think. Is that a chimney on the left, Frank? Is it got a chimney, integral chimney?
Yeah, it's got a chimney on the side. This thing was, I really do miss it.
I bet you do, but you'll have it shipped over. I'm sure at some point.
In Portugal now, it's going to be a different kind of barbecue. It's going to be a nice charcoal, traditional, huge barbecue right next to it. Pizza oven, stone pizza oven, just like in Napolitan. It's going to be amazing. I have a lot of plans for it.
Yes, and just like Doug had 27 pictures of his old vehicles, you've got like 27 pictures of all the barbecues you've ever had, I suspect, somewhere.
No. It's. I would love to take pictures of more transport pods, but no. The barbecues, I've taken 1 or 2 pictures just to show people how it can be done. Other than that, no, I don't.
Yes. Case closed. Now, bear with us on this one. Gary Austin is in his local churrasquera, probably in Alvagra. When I first heard them saying picante, when I'm buying a chicken, I thought, what did she just call me? Almost sparking a diplomatic outrage there. Go to Google Translate before getting upset. Always. Gas, what a sacrilege. As for health and safety, you Brits kill me. By the way, Carl, love the way you pronounce beautiful in English. Is that right? Beautiful with a D in the middle there. BEWD. Beautiful. Maybe is what she's talking about there. But tell us more, Lucy, on that. Barbecue is nice, says Pete, but the fresh pizza from the homemade oak smoked oven, prepared from scratch by Luke and Sarah, was simply sumptuous. A lot of name dropping from all sorts of people this morning, isn't there? But why weren't we invited to that, Frank? Best one was blue cheese. Oh, this is the moment when we realize how hungry we are, not having had breakfast before doing a food show. Best one was blue cheese, mushrooms, sesame, and honey. Oh, my word. I can't say that out loud without feeling really...
by the way, just so you know why we are not invited for these things, it's you started the show killing Bob Dylan. That's why. It's a lot of people who are Bob Dylan fans. They're going to be like, oh, these 2 clowns, we're never inviting them.
Sorry, Frank, because you're a fan and I've ruined it for you. And it's 20 past 10. We need to go and eat something. My mate's father-in-law, 30 years in Portuguese chicken house. He does barbecue to kill for. Yes, he's got to with that experience. Amazing. Feel free to put in the name of an establishment, Lee, in the comments. We're always happy for a small establishment recommendation here. Bon dia from Provence, France, from Robert Winkle. Good morning to you. I make my own, barbecue in Provence. That sounds like a picturesque scene, doesn't it? Can imagine, what's his name? The actor, his year in Provence, getting mad with the barbecue. What's he called? Who's our favorite? Russell Crowe. I make my own barbecue sauce and it's amazing. We have brought the flavors of New Mexico to Provence. That sounds like a lovely hybrid. Yes. That's the best kind of globalism, isn't it? The Englishman bombed the Argentinians' barbecue after he tried to take over. Don't really. Oh, I don't.
Yeah, you know where he went.
Yeah, growing up in Africa, the braai was always the center of any party. Each person, including kids, had their own long fork. Beard is 22. You chose your meat from a table piled with meat, and you just cook your own. That's quite a nice way of doing it, I have to say. It challenges the ideas we've expressed before about a central alpha male.
Leave the kids to fend for themselves. And one thing, is braai like? Don't you eat barbecue with hands? Isn't that the entire idea? But maybe this is done with utensils.
The long fork is probably health and safety. Then you eat with your fingers, I'm guessing. But everyone gets a chance, including kids, charging through with a long fork. That could end badly. Barbecue in Portugal, always welcome. They have a lot too. I learn from South African guys about braai, says Max Flight, or have a lot to learn about. Yes, we must have a look, a deeper look into this. We'll do the Portuguese.
We've got to go and try this braai sometime. So anyone who wants to, we'll go and we'll watch this braai and enjoy. I think it'll be amazing. You and I will enjoy it, Carl. Just don't bring Bob Dylan up. Don't do anything controversial. You don't want to get kicked out, man. Don't do that.
I just gave away the guitar that we brought with us in the camper van, like a Scooby-Doo family. No one touched it for the 3 years we've been dragging it around Portugal. So I finally said in the last move, the guitar's got to go. This is ridiculous. This is just, dragging on us now. I'm sorry I've got rid of it because I could have learnt some Bob Dylan songs, couldn't I? And wowed everyone at the Bry barbecue.
And especially if you bring up, what's your favorite character that plays guitar? Giovanni, what's his name? Oh, Alejandro. We bring in Alejandro with us, and he does a Bob Dylan tune, and that's beautiful.
That would be my favourite barbecue ever, wouldn't it? Bon dia, excuse me. Point of order from John Smith. Fish and chips originated in Portugal. This we've heard, of course. Yes. And then the Brits went and did their thing to it, like they do with so many foods. But obviously never on a barbecue. Thank you, John. Well said. Carl, you remember what I told you about barbecue, where the name comes from? I'm sorry I don't, Johnny, but I do remember you telling me, but I can't remember the facts. But here they come. We are escoteiros and like to make our own barbecue on the place in winter. Too dangerous when it's hot, of course. Yes, point. No, good point there. Obviously, be very careful in the hottest months with the barbecue and the flying embers. You have to be so careful, double careful, triple careful in Portugal with that. Well said, Johnny. Expats Portugal. I disagree about cheap barbecues. Buy a Weber. They clean up fast and always look like new, even when a few years old. So Weber is the tip for Jerry there. Max.
Weber is a Canadian brand, by the way. It does work well.
Do you want to read this out, or shall I, Frank?
Bob Dylan writes socialist crap.
It's like. That's it. Surely the barbecue depends on the quality and freshness and even the manner of slaughter of the animal. Well said, Pete. Shout out to the creatures here that give their lives. And there's no other way of putting it, is there? Animals are slaughtered and killed such that we would eat them in this way. And yes, we are perhaps not reverent and careful enough with the provenance and even the ceremonial aspect. Because there is a ceremonial aspect to the barbecue. And we urge people, don't we, to spare a moment and to, we give thanks, do grace. Say it, say thank you to the creature. Say thank you.
Read the note the animal left behind. Read it and just be like, I gave my life for you. Make sure to take care of all the bones here.
Frank, the animal that you're cooking on it can't wait for a fishing trip with Joseph. Now, catching your own fish and then barbecuing it, that's another. We're really in the territory of the great alpha male experiences.
Pete is a rock star. I love Pete.
And he wants to catch his own javali as well. Men like barbecues because it's a primeval thing. Absolutely, Gary, for sure. And we've discovered a few other primeval things here. Get Ken on from OK Portugal. He's an expert with a braai. Okay, we will. Anyone who knows Ken, tell him how friendly we are and what fun he'll have here on the Good Morning Portugal show. I do send messages to people. Do you want to be on the show? Sometimes they ignore me completely. Sometimes they say, yes, how about tomorrow? It's all good. Talking of which, tomorrow, we were talking about the slaughter of animals there. Slightly awkward subject tomorrow, Tuesday, on our, it was like Consumer Tuesday, but that's the wrong classification for what I'm going to talk about now, but home affairs. We're talking to a death doula tomorrow who thinks the way we approach death and dying is all wrong in the modern age. I think she's got a point, and we'll be talking to Em McGowan tomorrow about attitudes towards death, and on the practical side, how to be prepared in Portugal as an expat. It's an important thing. And on the one hand, I could think, I'm not going to talk about that. We're having a great fun time talking about barbecues, and there I am talking about death. It needs to be talked about occasionally from time to time, and we will be doing that with Em McGowan tomorrow morning on the show. You can tell I'm bringing things to a close here. What have I not said about barbecues, Frank, that needs to be said?
You've said everything except showed it. What we'll do next time is we need to do a barbecue show where we will bring out like the different kinds of meats, how it's done. We might even bring in a video of U.S. Southern barbecue, the one that I'm talking about, the one that they really specialize in with all the sauces, barbecues from Texas, the south of the U.S., and the South American barbecue, the churrasco. Can't go wrong with that. We have to do a few videos of that. Show people how it's done. And maybe we can throw in a braai video in there and bring in a guy who does braai.
Well, it's not a guy, it's a gal, by the look of it. Carl, in Portugal at the end of June for 3 weeks. I invite you and your family, and I'm going to bring Frank in to as family here, to a real South African braai in Portugal. Experience our food and hospitality. Boom! That was the invitation we were waiting
Thank
for.
you, Anna.
In Porto as well, a chance to see Porto. Gianni, the origin of barbecue, the meaning and origin is French. Who knew? Did you know that, Frank?
I didn't know that. French have stolen a lot of things. Maybe this is another one of them.
Okay, that's Bob Dylan fans and French people and anyone else who we should apologise to before the end of the show. That is where the origin of the word barbecue lies. It seems English, but the origin is with a Q. Long ago, this is good. Long ago, say in the days of Asterix and Obelix, French boars were roasted on a spit. Of course they were. Such a roasting spit was popularly called erin. Erin biche de bard, or erin biche de bard, ou biche de start, translated to French, barbecue. Barbe et Q. There you go. French origin. I hope I did that justice, Jenny. And I do remember
There was a bit of touch in there that you did in French. This is classic.
When I worked with the US Forest Service, we used to catch fish and cook them over the campfire. Delicious. Oh, Kate, not just a leading economist, not a world-leading controversial economist, at least in these circles, but someone who used to work for the US Forest Service. Catch your own fish and cook them over the campfire. Delicious. That sounds fantastic.
Oh,
usually burn a bay leaf branch, ceremony of cleansing. So a bit of smudging there, Gary. Does it just mean anything to you, Frank? A bit of aromatic herbs just to bless the barbecue and the creek?
Is this like when the Swedish do the lufa on? Is it like something like that you do to the meat? No.
I don't know what you mean when you say when the Swedish do the loofah.
You come on. You've been to those Swedish hammams or the Swedish the baths. You told me one time you went to a big guy. What gave you?
Oh no! You're on your own with that. With like the Swedish do the loofah. Frank, it's been such fun this morning. Quick look at both our barbecues before we go. There's Frank's, the classic Traeger. Couple of wheels on there. I can see him skateboarding on that as well, on a half pipe, whilst barbecuing. And there's Jimmy Choo, in case you weren't here earlier on there. Look at that view as well. This is the important thing as well, isn't it, with a barbecue, having a nice vista like that. Isn't that beautiful, looking over the Alcabab?
You showed me up yours. Okay, I give it up. Yours looks much better than mine.
With Jimmy Choo. And I hasten to add, Jimmy's not going to be barbecued. He just walked into the photo and I'm thinking, oh no, people are going to think there's some kind of Korean barbecue or something. But no, Jimmy Choo is a house. Oh no, that's Korean.
No more Korean people watching us. This is great. French gone, Koreans gone, Bob Dylan fans gone. Thank you.
I'm just memo to Carl meeting. It's the Expats Portugal meeting in just 1 minute's time. We've got to go. But Frank, just tell me, can you hear this music when I play it? Oh, there's another picture of your barbecue there. Let's take that off. Can you hear this music when I play this? Are you hearing that? Okay, we are going to go out with that today. Thank you so much to you, Frank, and to everyone who's taken part this morning. Absolutely great fun this morning. Yeah, looking forward to your company again at the gardening Q&A at 6:15 this evening, and of course tomorrow when we welcome Death Doula. Look it up, M. McGowan tomorrow. Take care and bye for now. We'll serenade out some of this music from Sky Consort and Emma Bueling. This is a band who's going to be touring later on this year, looking for venues to play in. If you like this sort of vibe, get them a gig somewhere, why don't you?
Rise to meet you, bathe away